गौर भक्त वृंद की
जय।
श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर ललिता विशाखा देवी की
जय।
श्री श्री गौर निताय की
जय।
आप सब वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की
जय
गुरु गौरांग की
जय
गौर प्रेमानंद
स्टैंड स्टैंड
Stand.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते
वो कौन सा वो फेसबुक है?
वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयामुदीरये
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
ऐसे नहीं हो रहा है रोटेटिंग नहीं हो रहा
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
इसको ऐसे करना पड़ेगा
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्
कि
भागवत
टूट ना जाएगा
स्कंद 1 चैप्टर 1
चलेगा रहने दो
श्लोक संख्या sorry chapter 16 is it
18 chapter 18
chapter 18
Text number.
1.18 point onwards. Wonderful. So we are 7 of us and let's do the best we can. Maybe I'll omit reciting word to word translation
I can do that
चल तो रहा है
if you want.
and go to the sloka. Pratirudena indriya prana manobuddhim uparatam sthana prayat param praptam brahma bhutam avikriyam. Translation and purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It was 26 now.
Yes, ma'am.
Translation. The Muni's sense organs, breath, mind.
Guru Maharaj,
Yes. You can't hear?
Chaitanya Prabhu, we are not able to hear. I think somebody's
No, we should.
like WhatsApp just came up.
Okay, we should bring
Listen
that
to our
to
history. Chaitanya Maharaj history. Oh, right.
that
Your voice is
speaker.
good.
Speaker line.
वो या वो लगा ना कहीं
Yeah.
Speaker.
Good to hear.
मिलाते मिलाते
Chaitanya Prabhu,
I am here. Can you hear me?
He said that he gave message that Maharaj is on. Maharaj is on. If available, please dial to here.
What is it? Okay.
He didn't. We request Dev Prabhu,
Okay, Prabhuji, we got it.
Mike, please.
oh, we already put the message. That's right.
Yeah.
अरे ये नहीं वो लाउड स्पीकर
आई नो ये भी लगाने की जरूरत है
Dev Prabhu, it is requested that please check the mic. We didn't hear Guru Maharaj.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Yes, Haribol.
Your voice is little better.
Maharaj speaks.
My voice is old.
No, it is now it's good. At this time it's good. And Kirtan was going on, it was good. But after a little bit, then it's gone. I don't know who was singing something or something.
Okay.
Was
We'll do
singing
the
it
best.
also was, you know.
Yes, Jagdish ji. We'll do the best in a minute. Just in a minute.
इलगन पड़ेगा
इसमें डालना है इसमें
मुझे
Let me see. Okay. We are getting together here.
this is good
Okay, it's better.
This is much better.
Much better.
इसको ना ऐसा रखते हैं बस this is good
Okay.
this is good
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
is it good now everybody can hear
Yes.
okay hello.
Okay. Okay. Translation. The Muni's sense organs, breath, mind, and intelligence were all restrained from material activities, and he was situated in a trance apart from the three wakefulness, dream, and unconsciousness, three stages. Having achieved a transcendent qualitatively equal with the Supreme Absolute. So, I will read maybe translation on your behalf. Again, what is happening is Muni Samika Rishi, he is in trance, samadhi, and the description is given here of his samadhi. That is, the Muni's sense organs, breath, mind, and intelligence were all restrained from material activities. In other words, all his organs were absorbed in Krishna under samadhi. And he was situated in a trance apart from the three stages: wakefulness, dream, and unconsciousness. Having achieved a transcendental position, qualitatively equal with the Supreme Absolute. That Muni was absorbed in Krishna, and that's why he was equal with Supreme Absolute. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Discharge. Rapid discharge. तो फिर कराई क्यों नहीं? Okay.
इससे भी उपयोग हो रहा है हमने वो चार्ज को
Position. Purport by His Divine Grace. It appears that the Muni in whose hermitage the king entered was in yogic trance. The transcendental position is attained by three processes, namely the process of Gyan or theoretical knowledge of transcendence, the process of yoga, or factual realization of trance by manipulation of the psychological and physiological functions of the body. And the most approved process of bhakti yoga, or the engagement of senses in the devotional service of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, also we have the information of the gradual development of perception from matter to a living entity. Our material mind and body develop from the living entity, the soul, and being influenced by the three qualities of matter, we forget our real identity. The jnana process theoretically speculates about the reality of the soul, but bhakti yoga factually engages the spirit soul in activities. The perception of matter is transcendental to still subtler states of the senses. The senses are transcended to the subtler mind and then to breathing activities, and gradually ಟೇಬಲ್ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಇದೆ ಗೋ ಚುಕ್ಕಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಇದೆ So we will read text 28 afterwards and let us discuss what we read so far. So text 26, the Muni, Samika Rishi, Muni, he was, let me offer my obeisances first to Prabhupada. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rup Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopikaka Radha Kanta Namastute Tatta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advait Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavind Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Nivadi Pachata Deshatari. So Samika Rishi, he was in total trance and his mind, breath, organs, intelligence, everything was absorbed in samadhi. In other words, he was unconscious to material sound or material happening around him. He was totally in trance, wakefulness, dream, and unconsciousness. He surpassed all these three stages and having achieved a transcendental position qualitatively equal with the supreme absolute truth. So he was totally immersed in samadhi and having no knowledge or no awareness of what is happening around him and who is coming, going, nothing. He was totally in trance. So Prabhupada is analyzing this trance in his purport that the trance then jnana, so yoga, jnana and bhakti yoga. So he's analyzing all three and he's saying that the bhakti yoga is a topmost in which we don't have to subdue our senses. In bhakti yoga we can engage our senses in satisfying the senses of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So other processes, jnana and yoga, is the other process of jnana and yoga. Excuse me, just a minute. is artificial imposition on our mind. But Bhakti Yoga engages every organ, organ of our body in serving Krishna. Rushikena Rushikesh Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. We engage our senses and mind in practical service to Krishna. So this is natural, this is very swabhavik, natural. So there is no artificial imposition. We enjoy and same time Krishna also enjoys. So that's why Bhakti Yoga is topmost way of getting ourselves into trance. Bhakti Yogi also gets into trance. So beyond the, sorry, 1 minute. So a realized soul uses his intelligence to practice Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is topmost. That's a purport of this verse. The Muni, he was in a trance in yoga practices, and that's why he couldn't recognize the king. He was in trance. So text 27, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport a very beautiful thing at the end of the purport, that otherwise there was no chance of such a unique happening. Maharaj Parikshit was thus placed in an awkward position so that gradually Srimad Bhagavatam could be revealed. So this is the purport of a purport, that all these thing is happening to bring out Srimad Bhagavatam. The sage was in meditation, it's okay. And he was almost unconscious of, in other words, he wasn't aware of what is happening around him. So, king, as we see further, the king was thirsty and he wanted water. He asked water from sage, but sage was in a trance, so he didn't recognize the king, how exalted position king has, and he is not aware of king. So he didn't offer anything. Neither he was aware of king. So King Parikshit, as we read further, he put a date snake around the neck of sage, Samika Rishi. So that was the insult to Brahmanas by Kshatriya, king. So Srungi was his son. And anyway, let me read further and all this katha will come. Prabhupada is writing very beautifully. So we will keep discussing what is happening. Text 28. Alabdha truna bhumi adir asampraptar Gyasu sunruta avajnanatam ivatmanam manya manascha upja ukopaka upokopa kaha gussa chukopa become angry. Translation: the king, not received by any formal welcome, by means of being offered a seat, place, water, and sweet addresses, considered himself neglected, and so thinking he became angry. So the king, such an exalted position in the state, he should be properly welcomed, formally welcomed. And the welcome ceremony, being offered a seat, he should be offered very nice seat, place, water, and sweet addresses. Consider himself neglected, and so thinking he became angry. Think it is okay.
Good.
It was good. Okay.
Is it good?
Good. So king should have been welcomed by Samika Rishi, but in trance he did not notice that a guest has come. So means of being offered a seat. So Prabhupada is very beautifully narrating how one should greet a guest, Atithi Devo Bhava. So when some guest comes to home of a Vaishnava, then he should offer him a very beautiful seat to sit down, and then water and very palatable sweet words we should offer. So Samika Rishi did not do so, and king got angry at him. So considering neglected, king got angry at Samika Rishi. Let me purport in which Prabhupada is explaining about receiving a guest, welcoming a guest. Purport by His Divine Grace. The law of reception in the codes of the Vedic principles states that even if an enemy is received at home, he must be received with all respect. He should not be given a chance to understand that he has come into the house of an enemy. When Lord Krishna, accompanied by Arjuna and Bhima, approached Jarasandha in Magad, the respectable enemies were given a royal reception by the king, Jarasandha. The guest enemy, namely Bhima, was to fight with Jarasandha, and yet they were given a grand reception. At night, they used to sit down together as friends and guests, and in the day, they used to fight, risking life and death. That was the law of reception. The reception law enjoins that a poor man who has nothing to offer his guest should be good enough to offer a straw mat for sitting, a glass of water for drinking, and some sweet words. Therefore, to receive a guest, either friend or foe, there is no expense. It is only a question of good manner. So here Prabhupada is pointing out that Atithi Devo Bhava, that any uh, guest coming to uh, our home must be greeted very nicely, even if they are enemy. You can offer a nice straw mat if you have no other means. You can offer him nice water, and you can offer him beautiful, palatable, sweet words. So this thing doesn't cost anything. It is a question of good manner and welcome. We should welcome our guest beautifully. In this morning we were reading the same kind of purport in which Prabhupada says the most important welcome to a guest is to bathe his feet. We should bathe his feet because ancient time there was no vehicles, cars or bus or planes. They used to walk. The guest would walk to your doorstep. So we should wash his feet to give him relax. Mm, and after bathing his feet, we can offer him if we are eligible or we have we have means or we have paraphernalia, then we should do proper welcome by bathing his feet and putting flower garland on him, and then offering some prasad and offer him some good palatable words all along, fanning him with fan, and proper reception like that. When Prabhupada used to come to our city, our temple, we have seen how he was greeted by garlands, foot bathing, and by offering him sumptuous, so many courses of prasad and arati, guru puja, like that. And then Prabhupada would give beautiful address, arrival address. So guests should be greeted like that. So even though Jarasandha, he was enemy of Krishna and Arjun Bhima, still he greeted them very nicely and gave them all comforts. So they would fight during the day to the life and soul. They would fight like cats and dogs, you can say, like tumulus, yuddha. But nighttime they were friends. Together, they would sit together and enjoy. So this is how we should greet our guest. Next paragraph. When Maharaj Parikshit entered the door of Samika Rishi, he did not expect a royal reception by the Rishi because he knew that saints and Rishis are not materially rich men. But he never expected that a seat of straw, a glass of water, and some sweet words would be denied to him. He was not an ordinary guest, nor was he an enemy of the Rishi, and therefore the cold reception by the Rishi astonished the king greatly. As a matter of fact, the king was right to get angry with the Rishi when he needed a glass of water very badly. To become angry in such a grave situation was not unnatural for the king, but because the king himself was not less than a great saint, his becoming angry and taking action were astonishing. So it must be accepted that it was so ordained by the supreme will of the Lord. The king was a great devotee of the Lord, and the saint was also as good as the king. But by the will of the Lord, the circumstances were so created that they became ways to the king's becoming unattached to family connection and governmental activities, and thus becoming a completely surrendered soul onto the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna. The merciful Lord sometimes create such awkward position for his pure devotees in order to drag them towards himself from the mere of material existence. But outwardly, the situations appear to be frustrating to the devotees. The devotees of the Lord are always under the protection of the Lord, and in any condition, frustration or success, the Lord is the supreme guide for the devotees. The pure devotees therefore accepts all conditions of frustration as blessings from the Lord.
Very great purport.
Huh?
It's beautiful purport, lot of.
Yes. So it's a very beautiful purport. The Lord creates such a circumstances in such a way that it is beneficial for the devotee. The devotee gets frustrated sometimes, but here Parikshit Maharaj didn't get frustrated. He took that as a mercy of Krishna. So, very beautiful purport. Samika Rishi, he did not greet the king properly because he was in trance. So it was not his fault also. So it is, and Maharaj Parikshit, he put that snake around his neck, was not that big of a offense because of not greeting him properly. It was not that great. It was not a live snake, dead snake, insulting the Rishi. It was insult almost. So the circumstances and situation became very adverse. The king became very angry at Samika Rishi, because he was a king. He was the king of whole, emperor of whole world, such an important personality, and wasn't greeted properly. So we will see further how he was cursed. But here, at the end of the purport, Prabhupada says uh, that this kind of situation was created by Krishna. This one, created by Krishna,
But they
so
don't,
that
but they don't know, yeah, this is created by Krishna. When they are actually
yes,
participating in the
yes,
actual situation happening, and they're reacting by their because so they are reacting by their emotions,
yes,
whatever emotions they are experiencing. Right, Mara?
yes.
So,
because of Kali Yuga.
Anyway, at the end, it's Parikshit Maharaj had a helmet and Kali Yuga
Gold helmet.
gold round helmet, and Kali Yuga was approaching, and one of the place for Kali Yuga to dwell in was gold. So Kali Yuga entered through his helmet, gold helmet, to his head and into his consciousness. So that's why pure devotee like Parikshit Maharaj made such a horrible mistake by putting snake around the Rusi.
So as soon as he went to palace, he took out the crown and he realized that he made a mistake.
Right. So Mataji is saying, as soon as he reached the palace, he took out helmet, mukut, and immediately came to his senses. What a ghastly thing I did, putting snake around the neck of a Rusi.
so people die with
Huh?
people normally die with live snakes.
Yes,
Here Parikshit Maharaj died with a dead snake.
yes. Curse.
Yeah, but because of
Well,
the
live snake,
dead
snake bird. But
The
yes,
reason was dead snake.
because he put the snake around his neck,
Yeah.
Rusi's neck,
Dead snake.
his son Srungi, he cursed Parikshit Maharaj that snake will bite you. The snake bird will bite you in 7 days. So he had a notice. The pure devotees therefore accept all conditions of frustration as blessings from the Lord. So Parikshit Maharaj could have counteracted that curse. He is a pure devotee. He is pure devotee of the Lord. Even Lord protected him in the womb of his mother. Such a purity was there in Parikshit Maharaj. So Lord may have protected Parikshit Maharaj, but he wanted to, Lord wanted to, or circumstances, circumstances wanted to bring out Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam to the public, 60,000 rishis, munis from all over the universe. And then they, by hearing, by preaching, by making them hear Srimad Bhagavatam, they will learn Bhagavatam and preach Bhagavatam all over the universe. This was the plan of Lord. So let's read further.
Maharaj, the one sentence here says, in the purport, the merciful Lord sometimes creates such awkward position for his pure devotees in order to drag them towards himself from the mere of material existence.
Yes. So sometimes the Lord, he takes examination of pure devotees by putting him in awkward position. But that is a test coming from Krishna. Prabhupada also had so many tests coming from Krishna, but he surpassed them all nicely. So we should be ready for the test. Uh, it looks like Lord is not paying attention or not favoring devotee, but actually Lord may have so many other plans by putting devotee into so-called distress and frustration. So we should be always ready for examination, the test from the Lord, test from Vaishnavas, Gurus, Prabhupada. We should be ready for the test. So the pure devotee therefore accepts all conditions of frustration as blessings from the Lord.
That's the
That's the end of the purport. So Pandavas, they were put into so many awkward positions, so much humiliation. 12 years and 13 years of cognito. They have to be in Agyatavas. So much taste came during this exile. So many tastes. But they surpassed them all. And at the end, battlefield of Kurukshetra, big test. It's like a ocean with a big tumangal fishes and Pandavas' meager strength. Still they passed the test. Pandavas passed the test. So text 29. Abhutpurva sahasa kshutrubhyam arditatmana brahmanam prati abhud brahman matsaro manyur evacha. Translation. O Brahman, the king's anger and envy directed towards the Brahman sage were unprecedented, being that circumstances had made him hungry and thirsty. So the king anger and envy directed towards Brahman sages were unprecedented, being that circumstances had made him angry and thirsty. So Samikarusi's son, Srungi, he punished or cursed Maharaj Parikshit out of proportion. It was not that big of an offense to put a dead snake around his neck if he had not greeted him at least a glass of water or something. So he was deserving some punishment. But and that snake he put in the neck was not that. If it was a live snake, yes, we can understand it. It was something big offense. So and he cursed him that in 7 days he will die from the bite of a snake bird. So this curse was not in proportion. It was unproportioned, too much. So king was pure devotee, he could have counteracted curse. Krishna even protected him within womb. That is his purity, king's purity. He could have counteracted counteracted the curse. But Bhagavatam has to come about. The Bhagavatam has to be preached. So that's why Krishna put him in awkward position.
So this purport.
And a devotee should take it like that. So
Can I read
let's
it?
read the purport.
Should we want to read?
It will not come here.
Okay.
Right. Purport. For a king, you want to wear this?
Yeah, I can. I
Yeah.
just want.
Yeah.
Then you can give me a copy. So that
Okay.
it's really easy.
Okay, you're on.
Haribol, you have to set the camera.
Maybe you should sit here.
Then Maharaj, I'm
But
just.
then you have to come in the camera.
That's fine.
Come.
I'm just reading.
Come,
Just
come.
helping you read.
You
For the
sit
king,
Okay.
Haribol, you sit here so you can.
It's okay.
for the king, like Maharaj Parikshit, to become angry and envious, especially at the sage and Brahmana, was undoubtedly unprecedented. The king knew well that Brahmanas, so the king knew well that the Brahmanas, sages, children, women, and old men are always beyond the jurisdiction of punishment. Similarly, the king, even though he commits a great mistake, similarly, the king, even though he commits a great mistake, is never to be considered a wrongdoer. But in this case, Maharaj Parikshit became angry and envious at the sage due to his thirst and hunger by the will of the Lord. The king was right to punish his subject for coldly receiving him or neglecting him. But because the culprit was a sage and a Brahmana, it was unprecedented. As the Lord is never envious of anyone, so also the Lord's devotee is never envious of anyone. The only justification of Maharaj Parikshit's behavior is that it was ordained by the Lord. Over to Maharaj. I just wanted to give Maharaj a little break in reading.
Yeah, that was a good break. Old body and old sound. Is pin is in a pin. Gachakiya.
Yes, Chicky.
Anyway,
Guru Maharaj, I have a question. Hare Krishna.
yes. Yes, Vijay.
Guru Maharaj, I know this everything happens for good only. Krishna have decided and something through Parikshit Maharaj. But then I have one question that Parikshit Maharaj follows all rule regulation. He is very disciplined. He cannot commit the mistake in dreams. Then, it doesn't look um, unfamiliar that he could commit that much big mistake to putting
Because of
snake
the
around
Veda.
the sage neck. This looks so unobvious to imagine even that by Parikshit Maharaj.
Yes.
Kali Yuga.
So Prabhupada is explaining this whole episode in his purport. He's saying that if this was not so, then how Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam would come about.
Some kids.
So this was the main reason, uh, out of all reasons, that Krishna wanted this Bhagavatam
Somebody
to
should
be
unmute.
spoken to all sages in Suktal as well as in Naimisaranya, so that all these sages, they are gurus and preachers and leaders of so many sampradayas and whatnot. So they would preach these glories of Krishna through Bhagavatam. And to bring out this Bhagavat, uh, which was uh, almost lost, he created these circumstances. So that's a sum and substance of this history. What is happening? The king is thirsty. He put dead snake around because he was not created properly, and uh, then Srungi, his son, would curse him. In 7 days, snake bird will come, bite him. He will be dying, and uh, before death, what one must do. Uh, then the Srimad Bhagavatam would be spoken to him before the death, and then this so many rishis, munis, 60,000 of them, they would hear and they would take it to their home and preach in their whole universe will be get preached about Bhagavatam. So this is the cause, real cause is this. Otherwise, they all have to die anyway. The Brahman and Parikshit Maharaj and whatnot. But Krishna, Prabhupada is saying in a purport that it is Krishna's will. Krishna arranged. I'll read that again. Uh, the devotees of the Lord are always under the protection of the Lord. So Parikshit Maharaj is under protection. He, he, he died means he has to quit this body, but then he will get next body which is spiritual. So, uh, and in any condition, frustration or success, the Lord is the supreme guide for the devotees. The pure devotees therefore accept all conditions of frustration as blessings from the Lord. So this is blessings from the Lord. So that's how uh, Parikshit Maharaj took it. He could have counteracted this uh, this
Curse.
curse, but he did not do so. So we have to take all adverse condition and frustration as the blessings of the Lord. So this is a blessing of the Lord. That's why this was
But Guru
created.
Maharaj,
Yes.
in this, uh, in this time, in this world, we always think this in a negative way that if Parikshit Maharaj can do that much bigger sin, then we are very normal. We are supposed to do, or we are happen to do the sins, because this is a question I have read somewhere quoting on that Parikshit Maharaj did a biggest sin, then we are okay to this to commit a small or little smaller or bigger sins. So I just want to check. So I just that's why my question is that, so Krishna is so merciful. Krishna could have done this entire uh, entire event through any demon or any normal person or any people who is carrying the bad karma. Parikshit Maharaj has not done any bad karma in his past time or entire throughout his life. Then why Parikshit Maharaj has been has assigned this sort of job? Because nobody see the positive side, because that only unconditioned souls cannot see the positive side, which is very intense and which has to be described by you or somebody who is intellectual. But the common things what we generally observe by seeing that, okay, Parikshit Maharaj put the snake, he got cursed, he got died, and it's okay for normal people to commit a small sin and
Yeah,
insult sages.
And
yeah, but Lord chooses his devotees to carry out particular task. Here he was put into frustration, uh, Parikshit Maharaj, but he didn't take it that way. He took as a Lord's mercy. And it is true, it is Lord's mercy. So we have to, it depends upon your purity and your level of consciousness. Parikshit Maharaj's level of consciousness was pure, he was a pure devotee. And that's why he didn't get frustrated. Uh, so as Pandavas and so as Prabhupada and so many pure devotees. Amrish Maharaj was put into unnecessarily awkward frustration, awkward position and frustration. Amrish Maharaj, he was not at all at a offense. He didn't offend Durvasha Muni, but unnecessarily he was uh, put into uh, frustration, created demon to kill him, and then Lord sends Sudarshan Das to protect him. So, if Amrish Maharaj uh, was not harassed by Durvasha Muni, then this uh, this
Sudarshan.
uh, katha or this kind of
Pastime.
pastimes would not have come into existence for us. So it is Krishna who chooses pure devotees to uh, do certain task. It may be awkward or it may be humiliating or whatever it may be. But devotees can see as mercy of Krishna. A demon will not. So Krishna chooses his devotees to uh, prove his Bhakta Vatsalta, to prove his uh, affection, pure affection for his devotees. Make sense? You want to add something?
Yes.
So Maharaj,
या यस महाराज जी बस एक चीज मैं और ऐड करना चाहूंगी इसमें मतलब मेरा एक क्वेश्चन और है कि हम हमेशा ये पढ़ते हैं और सुनते हैं कि हमारे जो बुरे कर्म होते हैं बैड कर्मास वही हमें फॉलो करते हैं और उसी वजह से ही हम कोई ऐसा काम कर जाते हैं जो बहुत सिंपल होता है या अप्रोप्रिएट नहीं होता बिकॉज ऑफ आवर बैड कर्मा हम कोई अच्छी चीज नहीं कर पाते तो ये चीज यहाँ पे आपको ऐसा लगता है कि कॉन्ट्रोडिक्ट होती है क्योंकि परीक्षित महाराज तो प्योर सॉल थे उन्होंने कभी कोई सिन कमिट किया ही नहीं होगा मैंने सोचा भी नहीं होगा एंड ही वाज वेरी रेगुलर आई मीन ही फॉलोज ऑल द प्रिंसिपल तो मुझे कृष्ण भगवान की लीला तो खैर किसी को समझ में नहीं आई लेकिन मैं ये समझना चाह उनको जितना जितना सुनो उतना ही लगता है कि जो वो करते हैं वो किसी चीज उसको कॉम्प्रिहेंड ही नहीं किया जा सकता वो क्या करते हैं क्या सोचते हैं वही जानते हैं
Yes.
लेकिन
Vaishnava
बस
Kriya
ये
Mudra Janiya na bujai. What to talk about Lord?
या
So his act cannot be understood. Janma karma cha me divyam. His karma are divya. We cannot understand with our meager intelligence or consciousness. But whatever he does is good for a devotee. So that's why he chooses his devotees to do certain pastimes. So
बट गुरु महाराज हमारे बैड कर्मा हमें फॉलो करते हैं या नहीं करते हैं या वो नलिफाई हो जाते हैं क्या
yes, your bad karmas are nullified already.
By chanting.
Devotees, don't worry. Karmani nirdhati kintu cha bhakti bhajam. By rendering devotional service to Krishna, the karmani nirdhati, all our karma becomes burnt. Nirdhati, dahan. So, I am writing book on this right now, karma and punarjanma. So, I was writing about. I am writing at very moment how to get rid of this karma. So, this is the way. Bhakti, karmani nirdhati kintu cha bhakti bhajam. Wonderful question. Thank
महाराज
you.
हमारे मतलब सिर्फ गुरु महाराज सिर्फ हमारे ही कर्मा हमें फॉलो करते हैं या अगर मैं अपने बच्चों के साथ हूँ तो मेरे कर्मा मेरे बच्चों को या उनके कर्म मुझे फॉलो करते हैं या हम हमारे कर्म एक दूसरे से कनेक्टेड हैं
नहीं, हर एक जीव के कर्म अपने अपने होते हैं. It is, of course, there is a word called combined karma, like yuddha or ghastly killing cows in the slaughterhouses, and it's combined karmas. Everybody gets those karmas. So that's different, but karmas are created individually, and result of those karmas also um, enjoyed or suffer individually. It's our karma. But to get rid of all this bad karma, we have to uh, render transcendental loving devotional service, bhakti, to Krishna, pure bhakti. Then our karma gets null and void.
Thank you, Guru
Okay,
Maharaj.
thank you, thank you, thank you very much, Deepika. Let's let's.
So
That was Deepika, na?
Yes, yes.
Deepika, yeah.
So
What?
one thing I wanted to
Yeah.
also say was, Maharaj, you very nicely answered, but that how Krishna also shows his devotees is the same Parikshit which became very thirsty and hungry was not affected by thirst or hunger for 7 days when Bhagavatam was recited.
Yes.
So Krishna, ten, because people will say, oh, how come pure devotee was in that condition? So we understood that Lord was ordained. So how the same devotee will be under that circumstances when he is hearing transcendental sound vibration, he is beyond that thirst and
Yes.
hunger and everything. So
Yes.
Krishna is proving that
He
this,
didn't,
Yes.
he didn't have.
Through his devotees.
this is my devotee
Yes.
who was thirsty and hungry
Yes.
because of whatever.
Yes.
And the same devotee is not hungry or thirsty for 7 days and 7 nights.
Yes.
Without taking a break, he is hearing Bhagavatam.
Yes.
I think because of the Kali Yuga, all this thing happened.
Yes.
गुरु महाराज क्या
Yes.
कहा मैंने समझ नहीं आया आप रिपीट करेंगे एक बार
What, Deepika?
Repeat करो.
इतने प्रभु ने क्या कहा समझ नहीं आया महाराज जी सही से सुनाई नहीं देता था कुछ समझ आया कुछ समझ नहीं आया
He chooses his devotees because his devotees can take it. When he was thirsty here, when he was hunting, and same thirst, he was
Conquered.
conquered thirst during the hearing of Bhagavatam 7 days without interruption. So he was sitting down without eating and drinking and concentrating on Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam. So he can prove this through his devotees, and his devotees can take this. Any other, suppose he has done through this episode with demon instead of Parikshit Maharaj, if he had done with some demon, it is impossible to bring Srimad Bhagavatam out. He will not even hear single word of Bhagavatam. So he has to choose his devotees to bring out Bhagavatam, who can hear without thirst and without interruption and with so much of interest and love and devotion. He can hear transcendental pastimes. So that's why he has to choose some devotee. Good it was not me and you. Otherwise, I don't know what we would have done. But Parikshit Maharaj exalted pure devotee. Altogether different story, isn't it?
You would have been good.
Oh, come on.
We are-
I cannot do Nirjala is coming. Nirjala is coming.
Tomorrow, I
Yeah.
think.
Tomorrow is Nirjala.
Yeah.
One day. What to talk about 7 days? 7 days. Parikshit Maharaj. So, I guess.
Maharaj thank you so much for your wonderful explanation
Thank you, Deepika.
please accept my
Ye Chitra.
humble
Oh, this is
obeisance.
Chitra.
Mataji. Yes yes
Hare
yes
Krishna.
Maharaj
Thank you, Chitra.
so Maharaj I have a question too.
Yes.
So you explained very nicely that when Krishna puts his devotees into adverse situations, you have to accept those adverse situations as his blessings. So my question to you is, how Parikshit Maharaj accepted the adverse situation he was put into, and
But what we see in in right now in this material world is that everybody is trying to come out of the adverse situation. Like we we always are trying somehow or the other to, make our selves come out of that adverse situation. So can you please advise, suggest how a devotee should um, how a devotee should take adverse situation, what he should be his mode, like should he try to come out of those situations, what should he do, should he just accept and sit down, just wait for the time to change, what should be his plan of action?
That is explained here in this episode that one should perform not yoga, not jnana, speculative knowledge, uh, but transcendental loving devotional service to Krishna, bhakti, pure bhakti. And pure bhakti's definition is anya abhilasha sanya gyan karma dhanavritam anukulin Krishna anusilan bhaktir uttama. So this is pure devotional service. So we should practice pure devotional service like Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, and so on and so forth, so many pure devotees. Their life was ever blissful life, even though materially speaking, we may say uh, Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj chanting in the filthy place without clothes and this and that, but a devotee, a pure devotee, is transcendental to this material uh, situations. So, uh, whether we have money or house or good health or no good health or whatsoever it may be, one can elevate his consciousness uh, uh, so much so that he remains Krishna conscious around the clock throughout his life. That's a life of bliss. That is a blissful life. Adverse or no adverse situation is same. Adverse situation and favorable situation, both situation for a devotee is same, because he is on a transcendental blissful platform. He is a blissful forever. Anandam Bodhivardhanam. His bliss is increasing day by day. His bliss is not dependent on any material circumstances, material home, material money, material any material things, phone or uh, anything, jobs and business. And his consciousness is into Krishna, a pure transcendental consciousness. So in that consciousness there is no distress of any kind, only bliss. And even if there is a distress, it will turn into bliss. Just like Parikshit Maharaj looks like he should be in distress. But no, on the contrary, he sat down on the bank of Ganga and uh, he is asking all these rishis and munis what is his duty for last 7 days, that he is going to die. And conclusion was that you immerse your consciousness into Krishna consciousness by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have to elevate our consciousness to spiritual, transcendental Krishna consciousness. Then in there, only Ananda, the bliss, uh, Sukha and Dukkha is the relative term. And because it is related to each other, it is material. But bliss is absolute term. Bliss is beyond this material world. So that is, uh, there is there is no distressful condition in absolute realm. So we have to elevate our consciousness. That's the name of a game. Yes.
So Guru Maharaj, what should we do to
Thank
elevate
you
our
so much.
consciousness?
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram.
Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We have to know the intimate glories of holy name. Holy name can reward us, or holy name can award us that pure consciousness where there is no sukha dukkha. Only prema, Krishna's prema. And in this prema, your mother, all of you, most of you, mother, you love your child, newborn baby. You all have baby, so had baby, whatever. So, uh, so much dukkha, pregnancy dukkha, and giving birth dukkha, and sleeping with the baby is dukkha, passing and the dead of night when you didn't have a sleep and now you are sleeping and baby wake you up again and distress and is so much you know uh, distressful condition, but love is above all. So that love makes you totally blissful, even though you're going through. So that love, Krishna's prem, uh, alleviates us from all this sukha and dukkha. There is, they both are relative term, material term. Sukh is material and dukh is also material. Prema or ananda is beyond this sukha dukkha. So that's what we should be situated in.
Next question, Maharaj, will be okay. How to be situated in
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
in
Thank you.
that
Chanting, we say no. We have to
pure
chant pure name.
pure name.
We have to chant pure name. Pure name, chanting pure Hare Krishna mantra means avoiding 10 offenses to the holy name. That makes it a pure name. Anya Bilasita Sunyam Gyan Karmadhanavritam Anukulin Krishna Anusilan Bhakti Uttama. This is pure name, pure bhakti. And if you uh, chant the holy name in pure bhakti, then uh, it takes you to pure consciousness, Krishna consciousness. So that's a goal. We should be conscious of Krishna all the time. That's a goal.
Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Guru Maharaj.
yes.
Accept humble
Jai Shri.
obeisance. This is Jai Shri.
Jai Sri, oh, from San Francisco.
Thank you so much for this nectarian lecture because it
I
is
was
like
I was remembering you all along, but Chaitanya Dev
I
did
want.
not connect me.
Right.
I
Send
was
a
remembering
message
you,
to
but I
come
thought
on
I'll not disturb you because you were on a tour. So that's the
Okay.
reason why I just didn't call or didn't text because I
Right,
thought it better.
right.
But I am so glad and I really feel that Krishna has answered all my prayers because he's connected me now with you. And just by listening to you for 10 minutes, I feel that my entire body, my spiritual self is purified, and I've been going through a lot because of some things.
Yes,
And just by listening to you, to a pure devotee, I feel that everything has just resolved. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, thank you so much, Guru Maharaj, for your nectarian lecture. And I just can't, have gratitude enough for you. Thank you
yes.
so much.
Thank you very much, Jai Sri. I miss your sister in London. Somehow or
Yeah,
other.
in fact, she went to ISKCON and she spent like 3 days with her mother-in-law in ISKCON, and now she's part of it, where she is in the Gaushala. She's taking care of
Oh,
the cows. And,
I see.
yeah.
I see.
So
Okay, any another question anybody has?
I had a question, Guru Maharaj. Since
Yes.
you're writing a book on karmas, and
Karma and Punarjanma. Yes.
yeah, I really had I wouldn't lie to you because I prefer to be transparent and very, you know, because this whole spiritual path is all about how transparent you are towards your guru.
Yes.
I do watch I do watch movies, and one of the movies that I watched was a horror movie,
Oh,
and
you are
and
horrified.
so I had a question which came across. I mean, it flashed across my mind. In this movie, there's this girl who gets possessed, and she's an innocent 5-year-old girl, and she commits uh, bad things towards her parents. And
Yeah.
so I was just like, this happens in the real world too. I mean, not many literatures are available on this. Very poor literature is available, but this these where there is light, there is darkness. So we need to accept. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that uh, there are ghosts, there are ancestral homes, there are people who want to go to Swarglok. When they remember them, they go there. So there is something like a ghost. So when somebody is possessed and when somebody commits mistakes while getting possessed, whose karma is it? Is it the person who has possessed the person? Because how can two souls be in the same body? Like if I'm possessed and if I
If you
commit something
stop,
bad,
if you stop watching these movies, the answer will come automatically. And chant Hare Krishna for that time you wasted watching this movie. If you chant
I just
Hare
watched
Krishna,
one and I didn't watch it again, but I just had this question, so I thought it better to ask you. So,
yeah,
if you
yes.
Desire is
have
not
any
fulfilled.
Well, whole idea of human existence is to elevate our consciousness to Krishna consciousness and to love Krishna and nothing else. Loving Krishna means loving His creation also, but we have to start from top, Krishna. We have to start loving Krishna, not loving His creation, father, mother, birds, beasts, and things. And love should start from top, not from bottom. If you start from Krishna, then automatically you love His creation. But the people miss this point, loving loving creation first, then Krishna. Then the equation becomes wrong. It doesn't come out right. So we have to abstain from all these uh, things which waste our human form of life. Time, we have limited time. We are already halfway up there already, and I myself is who knows what, you know, very near to the death. So we should not waste our time, uh, watching these movies and waste time. Rather, we can read. Uh, if you want to watch what Mahabharata, Ramayana, or Krishna uh, by anyway, some spiritual Prabhupada's Leela, so many movies, and Prabhupada associates, and so many nice, it can elevate our consciousness.
I do watch Mahabharata and
Yeah,
B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata
right,
and
right.
that.
Nice, watch
But
these
this
movies.
one question
Hare
that was
Krishna.
flashing across my mind, because I was very confused and baffled, and about like how can two souls be in one body? So that was my question. Like
Right,
it was
right.
not because I was fascinated by the movie or something. It was just a question which
That's
was
okay.
logical.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Because the soul is
Because
yes.
ghost,
unfulfilled.
ghost wants to enjoy the gross body, that's why they want to enter those bodies which are in ignorance.
Yes, ghostly.
Uh,
Yes,
Correct. Unfulfilled desire. So
yes. Unfulfilled desire. Ghost means a spirit soul minus body. A spirit soul doesn't have gross body, it's called ghost. And that spirit soul without material body has some desires within subtle body, so which are not fulfilled. So trying to fulfill in haras, in hurry, in few days, and that's why ghost haunts us, and we become ghostly haunted. We become ghosts ourselves.
They
So-
take it over.
So Guru Maharaj, is it so? It is you're saying by your answer, I'm concluding that it is possible for two souls to be in one body.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course,
Oh,
of course. There can be many souls within one body. Like you eat yogurt, and so many souls enters into your stomach. The spirit soul is all pervasive and anantaya kalpate. There are unlimited spirit souls, not just some count or anything. Unlimited. Sachanantaya kalpate. Sorry, I was blocking.
that was such a valid answer you gave. I mean, when we have yogurt, there's so much of bacteria, and they all have
Yes.
souls, and so of course, I
Yes.
didn't think about it. But see, I mean, this is like an eye opener.
Yes.
I mean, this is why I say all your lectures are so nectarian. They just open the eye.
No, I'm just repeating what Prabhupada says. I'm trying to repeat.
Thank you so
Any
much.
other?
Guru
Yeah,
Maharaj.
thank you, Vita. Thank you. Any other question anybody has? Okay, so we can conclude. Thank you very much, and we will.
So please, I will make an announcement.
Yeah, announcement. One announcement I have is come to Bhakti Retreat in this coming long weekend, July the 4th, long weekend. Everybody should make a endeavor, and if you don't come at all, if you don't come, huh? Anandmai Krishna? Huh?
Krishna Guru Maharaj.
You said something?
Sorry, Guru Maharaj. It was no, not in this program.
Okay. Okay, here's the announcement from
Chaitanya.
Chaitanya Dev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to you. So tomorrow we have a Bhakti Vriksha program at Shilpi Mataji's and Sachin Prabhu's home. So please come. And Maharaj will be giving the same nectarian katha, continuing this session. And on Saturday we have a program at Deepika Mataji's house. And then on Sunday we have Sunday feast lecture of Guru Maharaj in the temple. So 3 days you can absorb yourself in the Shravanam Utsava, in the Denvar Yatra of New Badrika Ashram, Radha Govinda. Thank you very much. And we have posted everything on Bhakti Vriksha group. If you're not a part of Bhakti Vriksha group, let me know. I can send you the addresses directly. And there will be online session also. So we will start the same online. But in person would be, if you can make it, nothing like it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Let's thank Guru Maharaj with 3 Hari Bols, please. Let's thank Guru Maharaj with 3 Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanand. Thank you, Maharaj. Hari Bol.